Hey, question for you. Do you believe in the law of attraction? It's one of those things like, do you believe in gravity? Where it doesn't really matter what your answer is. Like, oh yeah, I don't believe in the law of attraction. It's kind of like saying, I don't believe in gravity. It's one of those things where your belief doesn't really matter whether it works or not in your life. It's always working. Just like gravity, it's always working, right? Hey everyone, John Yax here. Founder of Yax Yoga Concepts. Well, I should say co-founder of Yax Yoga Concepts. Chris is right behind the camera, so he just gave me that face of like, what? WTF? So what I want to talk about a little bit today is, yes, the law of attraction. And what I'm specifically going to talk about are the 3 hurdles to the law of attraction. The 3 hurdles, right? These are the 3 stumbling blocks of law of attraction when we want to start to use it consciously. I guess the best way to say it. We are always, so the first thing I want to talk about is that we're always using the law of attraction, whether we know it or not. Meaning we're always manifesting things in our life. Usually, most of us are doing it unconsciously. It tends to be what we think about most. Right? What questions do we ask ourselves the most? What's the story we keep running through our heads most? It's one of the reasons why in your life you notice these patterns pop up. Right? You notice if you're in the dating phase of your life, how come you attract the same kind of person every single time? Right? They always have there's something similar about them. Or if it's a work experience, how come you end up having the same style of boss every time? Or if you're a business owner, how come you attract the same employees all the time, right? So there are these patterns that are running in our life, and once in a while we start to notice it, but a lot of times we don't dig any deeper than that. Well, what you're noticing is the experience of the law of attraction. You're manifesting this particular experience in your life over and over again. Now, if we do this unconsciously all the time, if we can become conscious, if we can awaken to the fact that this is a law, it does exist, and there are ways to manifest the things that we actually want in our life. There are ways of aligning with this law and using it for ourselves to raise the standard, to attract the experiences that we really want to feel in our lives. We can do this. Now, we're going to save all the specific detail for later, but what happens initially, and I'll ask you this question, what is it that you want in your life? Most of the time when I ask people, when I'm coaching people in this and I ask them that question, what I tend to get is what they don't want in their life. Well, I don't want to be in a relationship that's like this and this and this, and I don't want my work to be like this and this and this, and I don't want to feel so overwhelmed, and I don't want to have the stress of this and this, and I don't want this little house, and I don't want this particular car, right? It goes on and on, right? Now, the question wasn't what don't you want? The question is, what do you want? Clarity, what do you want? Most of us don't know what we want. We don't take the time to write down simple goals and dreams, right? We don't create a vision for our lives. And a lot of times it's just because we're so freaking busy, right? I have 2 little kids as this is being filmed, and one of the priorities, one of my values is family, right? So I carve out time every single day to be with my family, to share time with my kids, to share time with my wife. I own a business, and I have employees, and I'm running that side of things, and so that takes up a lot of time, and it's very easy, and I know this from personal experience, it's very easy to just get caught up in the doings of life. I'm about to knock over this my tripod here. The doings of life. We get caught up in all of the things that we need to do day to day to day, and we rarely take time to sit down and say, what do I want? Where am I going? What's my vision? What's my direction? Right? If I get in a plane, I have got to have a destination. Otherwise, the pilot's going to take the plane off and just, where y'all want to go? No answers. We're just going to keep flying around, right? This is how our lives become. If we don't have a destination, we don't know where we're going, we don't know how to get there.
We just get caught up in the doing of life. And we're kind of like a boat on the ocean with the sails down and no one on the rudder, and we're in the cabin even, right? We're just drifting and drifting and drifting. The law of attraction is a way of understanding that I want to manifest the things in my life and I want to have a direction. I want to know where I'm going. So that's first, is to take some time. And I would actually recommend doing this every week, every Sunday night, take a half hour and say, where am I going? Where's my bigger vision? Where's my bigger destination? And then what am I going to do this week to help me get there? Now, once you have that clear, right, once you know what you want, then the 3 hurdles come into play. Right? These are the 3 hurdles to the law of attraction, the 3 things that tend to block our progress, that tend to throw us back into the old patterning, the old conditioning that we're so entrenched in, and that creates the same things that keep coming up and coming up and coming up in our life. Right? Those patterns that run through the stories, the patterns and the stories that run through our head. So the first number one thing, the first hurdle, is once you know what you want, this is a question we need to ask ourselves. Do I believe it's possible? Do I believe it's possible? This comes down to belief systems. This comes down to mindset, a little bit of heart set too, but it comes down to, do I believe that I can actually do this? Right? And so if something says, let's use an example of I want $100,000. Make it real simple. Right? Is that simple, John? I want $100,000. Let's say, well, I want $100,000, but I don't believe it's possible, right? That the mindset is going to stop me. It's going to block me from manifesting that. Now, so here's a question. So if you believe that $100,000 is impossible, do you believe $1 is possible? Most people say, yeah, I believe $1 is possible. I could walk out on the street and look down and find $1 easily. Right? I could manifest $1. I could go to the coffee shop and get $1 extra in change back, and there's my manifestation of $1. My next question is, do you believe that the source, the creative power that created us, that created everything, do you believe that that power has a harder time creating $100,000 than it does $1? Most people say, no, it shouldn't. It shouldn't matter, right? So how does it get blocked? It gets blocked here. It gets blocked from our own personal beliefs of whether we believe it's possible or not, whether we believe it's true or not. Is it possible? I'll use another example of if my belief pattern is that I'm unlucky in love, and yet my intention, my focus, my goal is to find some soulmate, is to find somebody that is truly meant to be with me in this life. And so I write down in detail, I'm very specific on who I want and what I want this person to be like, look like, feel like, everything, all the complete detail. If my belief is that I'm unlucky in love and that I will never find somebody, and I throw out this intention of I want to find the right person, what do you think is going to happen? Well, I may attract that person in my orbit, but once communication happens, once attraction, once that piece of we meet, and I'll create the self-destruction, right? I will somehow, because of my belief pattern, stop it from happening, right? That perfect person comes and introduces themselves, and I'm like, hi, no, this can't be this. No, never mind, nah. Right? I'll break it up. I'll do something, and I was so embarrassing. I gotta run away from this. Some part of my belief system will not allow that to happen because it's my belief system. Is it possible? I have to shift my belief pattern. I have to shift my mindset to know that it is possible. To know that it is possible to manifest anything, that we are co-creating this life. The second hurdle, do I believe I deserve it? Do I believe I deserve it? This gets into the self-worth question. Am I worthy of it? Right? Maybe I do believe it's possible. Right? If I use the money example, then the universe can manifest $1 in my life, it can manifest $100,000 in my life, but do I deserve it? Right? What is my self-worth? How do I believe myself? Do I believe that I am worthy of financial freedom? Do I believe I am worthy of love? Do I believe I am worthy of living my dreams? Right? If I don't, it's going to block it from manifesting. Right? Do I deserve it is huge. It comes down to, what is my self-worth? What is my self-love? Am I able to look in the mirror and say, you are enough. You are perfect the way you are, and you have the power to manifest anything you want. Do I believe that? Do you believe that? Self-worth. Right? If I'm not able to feel that worthiness, to know that I am worthy of anything that I want to manifest, it will block the law of attraction. I'll get caught in my old patterns and manifest the same things I've been manifesting. The last one of these, guys, a third hurdle is, am I willing to have it completely? Am I willing to have it completely? When I finished a dysfunctional relationship, and I got to a point in my life where I was like, all right, universe, I'm done with these relationships. Because just the same exact example I gave you in the beginning of this video, I found myself dating the very similar people in my life. They have very similar things going on. Not all of them. Some people were beautiful people, then some were like, they were beautiful people in their own way, but they needed some help. Ended up being like pulling these people in my life over and over again. I got to a point after the last one, I was like, enough. If I'm going to have the right person in my life, if I'm going to manifest my soul partner, the person I want to be with for the rest of my life, here it is. Here are the specifics. I want her to be this, this, and this, and this. I want her to love the ocean and love eating the same way I love to eat. I love yoga and love being physically active and love this and this and this. And I just went in detail. Beautiful and this and this and this and this. And I have a whole list of stuff. And almost as if I was taunting the universe of like, there's no way the universe is going to be able to pull this off, right? After I just told you it, do I believe it's possible? I was like, I'm not sure if this is possible. I got a big list here, very detailed, very specific. And then, of course, guess what happened? About 5 months later, I met my wife. She was all of those things, this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And when I met her, I knew it. I was like, okay, thank you, universe. And am I willing to have this completely? Meaning, am I willing to give up the freedom that I had as a bachelor? Meaning, I get up in the morning, I do whatever I want. I go here, I go there, I do this, I do that. I have complete autonomy to do whatever I want to. Bringing the person that I want in my life to share my life with means I got to run it by somebody. What are you doing? What do you want to do today? What is your life? What is your life like? It's pulling somebody into your life and allowing yourself to weave your life into that person's life, to feel that connection, which is so powerful and so incredible, and it makes your life completely different. So what we're saying is am I willing to have it completely? Am I willing to let go of my old way of being to bring in this new way of being? Am I willing to let go of my old way of being and bring in this new way of being? It was the same way. So this happened when I met my wife. It was the same thing when my wife and I decided, what do you think about having kids? So for a long time we were like, no, we're not going to have kids. We're not going to have kids. We're going to travel the world and do this. And we did. We traveled the world and did a lot of things. And then we got to a point where we're like, I don't know, we could do kids. And so, after we were like, yes, let's have a child. And a few months later, she was pregnant. And 9 months later, in that process, we were like, all right, are we willing to have this completely? Like, there's no choice at that point, obviously, but in the discussions of do we want to bring a little one into this world, that was we're going to manifest one of the most incredible things you can manifest in this world. Are we willing to have it completely? What does that mean to have a little one? What does that mean? It means, again, just like when you're finding the person that you want to be with the rest of your life, it means the way you're living has to be set aside for a new way of being. And this is what my wife and I decided together. Okay, we're going to do this. And for you parents out there, you know it is like taking your life and going, flipping it upside down and shaking it a little bit. It was just like, whoa, hang on for the ride. Most incredible thing, obviously, the balance of just total bliss and total heart-opening explosion with the crazy chaotic nature of what it means to have a little one. And then how, about almost a year and a half later, we were like, should we do this again? And so we're like, yes, let's do it again. Let's see if it gets easier. No, but this is what it comes down to is like, when you are manifesting, you have to really decide, am I willing to have it completely? Am I willing to change how my life is to bring on this new, incredible way of being, what I'm asking for? And so, just to reiterate, the 3 hurdles to the law of attraction: do I believe it's possible? Do I believe I deserve it? Am I willing to have it completely? What I'll ask you to do now is take 10 minutes. Get a piece of paper and a pen. Write down what you want. Get real clear. Say, this is what I want to manifest in my life. And then after you have that written down, it's clear, it's specific, it's detailed, then ask yourself these 3 questions. Do I believe it's possible? Do I believe I deserve it? Am I willing to have it completely? And then answer those and be as honest and raw and real with yourself as you can. Thanks for sharing this time with me, and continue to create a masterpiece of your life, everyone. Thank you.